But on the surface of the ocean, we see dynamism. This unified field at the beginning of creation, during the Big Bang, erupts into a sea of effervescent bubbles, like ginger ale effervescent bubbles. But these aren't really ginger ale bubbles, but they are tiny loops. Tiny elastic loops, not made of rubber, but they are. The universe at this early stage is not physical. It's a conceptual world. But the structure of the universe is in the form of these vibrations. These, what are called superstrings. And superstrings, like rubber bands, vibrate. And they vibrate at different speeds. Some very slow, some very lazy, some very energetic. And Einstein tells us that the mass of a thing, the mass of a rubber band, the mass of a fundamental particle, is equal to the mass of that particle. E equals mc squared. So these vibrating strings coming from the unified field have different masses and different properties. And what do they give us? What do these become? They become the fundamental particles and forces of nature. And there are 5 different types of fundamental particles and forces of nature. There's gravity, which is one of the 4 forces of nature. There are the other forces of nature: electromagnetism, radioactivity, the nuclear force. There are what are called matter fields. That's the particles that make up our atoms and our molecules and our bodies and our planet Earth and the galaxy. And there's another one called the Higgs boson. So in any case, these 5 particles are also called 5 spin types, doesn't matter. But these fundamental particles that make up you, and they make up me, they make up all of matter, these are just the different vibrations of Atma, vibrations of the unified field. So we have this unified field of universal being, universal existence, bubbling up, bubbles, and those vibrating bubbles are just the fundamental forces and particles of nature. And from the fundamental particles and forces of nature, you can build anything. You can build atoms and molecules and human bodies and cells and planets and galaxies. It all comes from there. The whole universe comes from abstract being. In human terms, Atma, universal consciousness. And this is already what we could describe as Vedanta of physics, Vedanta. Because Vedanta shows that all this is that. Everything that exists, everything that ever was, everything that ever will be, every drama in your life is nothing but the expression of consciousness, or the unified field. So let's bring this back to Vedic science. In Vedic science and in Ayurveda, these 5 spin types are fundamental, but they have a different name. These are the 5 Prakritis. These are the Pancha Mahabhutas: earth, water, fire, air, space. In the Vedas, in the Vedic literature, and Ayurveda have known about these forever, for millennia. And these 5 Pancha Mahabhutas, earth, etc., these 5, Akasha, Vayu, Tejas, Apas, Prithvi, are the 5 spin types of physics. It's just a different name. For example, what is Akasha in English? Space. But not space as nothing. Not space as nothing, not just emptiness. Space is a subtle substance. What we say in physics, a relativistic fluid, a fluid with no viscosity. Super thin. And in physics, what is gravity? What is gravity? Gravity is curved space-time geometry. Space as a subtle substance. Space is relativistic fluid. Different names for the same eternal reality, ancient and modern. Agni, fire, represents heat, digestion, chemical transformation. very important to our human physiology and health. In physics, spin one of these 5 prakritis, is electromagnetism, which is light, which is fire, which is chemical transformation. And so on. We could spend time, but we don't have time. All of these 5, the Panchamahabhutas, which are important in Ayurveda, are the same 5 forms of matter that physics studies today. And I'll just continue for a few minutes longer. These 5 Panchamahabhutas can be seen in a more holistic state as the 3 prakritis, which are called superfields in physics. Vata prakriti, Pitta prakriti, Kapha prakriti is the merging of Akasha and Vayu, merging of fire and water, merging of water and earth. These same prakritis are also fundamental in physics. So, to conclude this line of argument, the 3 prakritis at the foundation of Ayurvedic medicine are the 3 superfields in the language of modern physics. And I'm saying this basically to emphasize that for many years of my life, when I was young, physicists and scientists, we'd heard about the Veda. We heard about the Veda. We heard about Ayurveda, but what is this? Earth? Water? Fire? Certainly today we know about the atom, and we know about molecules, and we know about electrons. So what's this ancient kind of knowledge? Well, the ancient knowledge of Ayurveda is the most modern, up-to-date science of physics. So the ancient knowledge is real knowledge. In fact, it is the most profound and up-to-date knowledge that equals or surpasses the latest knowledge of physics. So now Ayurveda, which is a science of medicine based on these 3 prakritis, or these physics spin types, is really ultra-modern, cutting-edge